Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you'll be updated on all my future content. So this video is going to be a review of adding fractions with unlike denominators using the butterfly method. So our first example problem is 3/4 plus 1/12, and I'm going to go through step by step how to solve that problem. So first thing we want to do is we want to find a common denominator. And we can find a common denominator by multiplying our two separate denominators. So 4 times 12 equals 48. So 48 will be our common denominator for this problem. Now to find our numerators, we have to multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. So the 3 3/4, we have to multiply that times 12. The 1 1/12, we have to multiply that times 4. So 3 times 12 equals 36. 4 times 1 equals 4. And now that we have a common denominator, we are ready to solve the problem. So 36 plus 4 equals 40. Now that we have a common denominator, we can keep that the same. And we have our answer, 3/4. 3/4 plus 1/12 equals 48. Now this answer is not in lowest terms. The 48 can be reduced, but I'm going to keep the reducing lowest terms. I'm going to do a separate live stream on reducing fractions to lowest terms. So for all intents and purposes, we'll make that the final answer for this video, even though 48 can be reduced. All right, next problem. All right, next example problem, we have 7/8 plus 1/12. So step 1, we multiply to find a common denominator. So 8 times 12 equals 96. So 96 is going to be our common denominator here. Now to find our numerators, we have to multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. So the 7 7/8, we have to multiply that times 12. The 1 1/12, we have to multiply that times 8. This is why they call it the butterfly method, because it ends up being the shape of a butterfly. So 7 times 12 equals 84. 1 times 8 equals 8. So we now have 84/96 plus 8/96. Now that we have a common denominator, the denominator will stay the same. 84 plus 8 equals 92. We have our answer, 7/8 plus 1/12 equals 92/96. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody tuning in the chat. I appreciate that. I really do. Now, 92/96 is not in lowest terms. That can be reduced. So I'm not going to say that's the final answer, but that'll be the final answer for this video. On another live stream, I'm going to reduce 92/96 to lowest terms. It just won't be this live stream. I don't want to throw too many steps at everybody all at once. So again, 92/96 could be reduced. It's not in lowest terms, but we're going to keep that as the final answer just for this video. All right, example number 3. I could be wrong, but I have a very strong feeling, almost I would actually call it a certainty, that our answer here is going to end up being an improper fraction. But I'm going to solve it anyway. So step 1, we have to find a common denominator. My day is going great. How is your day going? Step 1, we have to find a common denominator. And we do that by multiplying our two separate denominators. So 5 times 4, we have to multiply 5 times 4. 5 times 4 equals 20. So 20 is going to be our common denominator for this problem here. Now to find our numerator, we have to multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. So we're going to multiply the 4 and 4/5 times 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. Then the 1 and 1/4, we have to multiply that times 5. 1 times 5 equals 5. So 4/5 has been converted to 16/20. 1/4 has been converted to 5/20. And now we can add. Good question. I work with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, so I would say this is 4th and 5th grade work. All right, 16/20 plus 5/20. 16 plus 5 equals 21. Now that we have a common denominator, it will stay the same. So we have our answer, and it is an improper fraction. 4/5 plus 1/4 equals 21/20. Improper fractions can be converted to mixed numbers, but that'll be for another live stream also. All right, moving on to example problem number 4. Shout out to the person that just hit the like button. I appreciate you. All right, step 1. Thank you so much for subscribing. You are awesome. Step 1, we have to multiply our two separate denominators to get a common denominator. So we need to multiply 2 times 7. 2 times 7 equals 14. So 14 is going to be our common denominator for the example problem above. Next, we find our numerators by multiplying each numerator times the opposite denominator. So the 1 and 1/2, we have to multiply 1 times 7. The 2 and 2/7, we have to multiply 2 times 2. So 1 times 7 equals 7. 1/2 gets converted to 7/14. 2 times 2 equals 4. 2/7 gets converted to 4/14. Now that we have a common denominator, we can add our numerators and the denominator will stay the same. 7/14 plus 4/14 equals 11/14. So we have our final answer, 1/2 plus 2/7 equals 11/14. All right, moving on to example problem number 5. So next example problem, 1/3 plus 3/8. Step 1, we multiply our denominators to find a common denominator. 3 times 8 equals 24. So 24 is our common denominator. Next, we multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. So the 1 and 1/3, we have to multiply that times 8. The 3 and 3/8, we have to multiply that times 3. 1 times 8 equals 8. 3 times 3 equals 9. So the 1/3 can be converted to 8/24. The 3/8 can be converted to 9/24. Now we can add up our numerators. 8 plus 9 equals 17. Since we now have a common denominator, it will stay the same. 8/24 plus 9/24 equals 17/24. We have our final answer, 1/3 plus 3/8 equals 17/24. All right, that was going to be the video, but since there's so many people tuning in, I'll do a couple more. I'll do a couple more adding fractions problems before I call it a video. So 5/7 plus 3/10. Again, step 1, we multiply our denominators. Seven times 10 equals 70. That's very nice of you, but that's okay. You don't need to do that. So 70 is our common denominator for this problem. Now to find our numerators, we have to multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. The 5 and 5/7, we have to multiply that times 10. The 3 and 3/10, we have to multiply that times 7. 5 times 10 equals 50. 3 times 7 equals 21. So the 5/7 gets converted to 50/70. The 3/10 gets converted to 21/70. So 50 plus 21 equals 71. So we have our final answer. 5/7 plus 3/10 equals 71/70. All right, I'm going to do one more adding fractions with unlike denominators problem, and then we will call it a video. Three fifths plus 2/9. Step 1, we have to multiply our two different denominators to get a common denominator. 5 times 9 equals 45. So 45 is our common denominator. As you can see, knowing your multiplication facts, having them memorized where you don't even have to think about them, it makes the more complex concepts in math a lot easier. If you've mastered your addition, subtraction, multiplication, it makes it so much easier as you get into the upper grades. So definitely, if you're in 3rd grade and below, really work on those skills. What is the hardest question? That's a good question. I mean, I guess the questions get harder over time. It depends. I guess it depends on what your strengths and weaknesses are. You know, it depends what you're good at. All right. So we have to multiply the 3 and 3/5 times 9. We have to multiply the 2 and 2/9 times 5. 3 times 9 equals 27. 2 times 5 equals 10. So the 3/5 have been converted to 27/45. The 2/9 have been converted to 10/45. So 27 plus 10 equals 37. We have our final answer. 3/5 plus 2/9 equals 37/45. All right, that is my live stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video, and if there is an area of math or reading that you're having difficulty with, put that in the comments, and I will do a future video on that skill. Until next time, this is Mr. Camilleri signing off. Have a great day. Christ is King. God bless.